Los Angeles can thank us for getting the Dodgers to the World Series. This is Corey. This is the O The Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. It is 11:47 p.m. Pacific time. That makes it 2:47 Eastern time, and the O The Anthem podcast is live from coast to coast, coming to you from the hashtag OTLA studios in downtown Los Angeles, California. This is episode 185. Who would have thought we would have made it this far?
Oh man, I'm surprised that we were even able to get an episode in at all this week.
I know, this has been a crazy week, but I do want to say, if you guys are checking us out, we are trying something brand new this week. That is, we are going live on YouTube, Corey.
Yes.
Who would have thought? And look at this fancy setup that we have here. Hey.
Hey.
So we're trying something. We've been trying over the last couple of weeks to get something new, a better product for you guys. And so this is the first week that we're going to be debuting the new YouTube live stream, where you'll be able to check us out at youtube.com/O The Anthem. You'll be able to see the live video there, as well as the recorded podcast. All the entire back catalog is available on YouTube, so make sure you guys check that out.
Yep.
And of course, you can find us on all your social networks at O The Anthem, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google Plus, I guess, if people want to use that. You can find Corey at LegendCB5 on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook at Corey Baker. You can find me at Robert N. Cheek on all your social networks. So thank you guys for joining us for this first time live episode on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it has been a bit of a busy week. You have had a lot going on this week, Corey.
Yeah. So let me start here. I got the opportunity this week to shoot I've been in Riverside, California for the shoot for 7 straight days.
Yeah.
And it has just been such a joy to be on set with such a talented group of cast and crew. And it has also been very tough to be away from LA and you and Rachel and Lucy and everybody.
Let's put that in a realistic list. Who is really it's been hard to be away from?
Rachel.
Well, of course, yes. I mean, it's.
But I mean, like, there was also the, you got to remember when you were at like law school.
Yeah.
We would talk every so often. We didn't talk as much as we do now that we live with each other.
Certainly not. Yeah.
But you gotta. It felt like when I ran into Zach for the first time in a couple years.
Yeah.
When I moved out here for film school. And I saw him, and it's like we picked up right where we left off.
Yeah.
There's always been that sense with me and you where it's like, we could be apart for a year. Yeah. We could not talk for a year, and then as soon as we see each other, it's like, oh, hey, how's it going, Rob?
Right. But yeah, so you've been out in Riverside, California, and for those of you who don't know, it's not exactly next door to where we are in Los Angeles.
No, it was like 40 or 50 miles away.
And you've been working on, are we allowed to say anything about what it is that you're working on?
Yeah, so it's a project called A Child's Voice. The hope is that it'll be turned into a feature-length project.
Right.
But essentially what the idea is that it's being shot in a way that it can be broken down into sort of like 10-minute episode style content online and sort of be used as like a proof of concept.
Okay.
So this is like a new way that people are doing it, trying to get content out there and turn it into either seasons of shows or into feature-length movies. But man, the people that I was working with were just a class above, you know? And I was just, it's a lot of work. And I am very tired, and I'm very sore.
I was going to say, really beat up, too.
I pulled my groin at some point here along the way, or something. Something happened to my groin.
Rachel, hold your ears. I don't want you to hear what's going to about to talk next.
Which is not a fun injury. So the good news is that I know I didn't do anything too seriously because I walk around fine, and I'm not like feeling it all the time. But the problem is that, like, every so often I'll take a step weird, and I'll just feel it, like, tighten up, and it feels like I'm getting, like, tasered in my hip. It's just the worst. It hurts so bad. And tomorrow I'm literally going to be a mummy. I'm going to get into the Halloween spirit early by wrapping my entire body in ace bandages and ice packs, and
Relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who would have
I'm going to go to the
thought?
hot tub, and then I'm going to completely bandage myself with these bandages.
Who would have thought that working on a movie set would have like that kind of physical impact?
Well, you know, I'm not trying to put down any other position, because it's a physical job for everybody, and everybody's on their feet all day. Everybody's lifting shit. Everybody's obviously like G&E alone, like carrying heavy things, moving lights, and they don't get breaks like I do, because sound is easy enough to like I just need like a 5-minute heads up, and I like start powering things on, and then I get there, and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
But, where's the sound? It's like, I'm right here. It's like, oh, good. But it is not a natural, like, they were talking, when they talk about like pitchers, like it's not a natural thing to throw 100 miles an hour.
Right.
And to torque your arm in such a manner, which is why people get Tommy John surgery and things like that.
Going overhand especially.
Right, yeah. It's not natural. And another thing that's not natural is holding up a boom like this for like 15 minutes at a time. It's just not...
Yeah.
But especially, like, so many people were just like, God, Corey's got, like, amazingly strong wrists, because he's just holding it up with one hand like this.
Yeah.
And, like, fiddling with knobs like crazy. And I'm
right.
just like, yeah, this isn't...
Not good.
This is just me locking my arm and hoping that tendons don't snap. Like, it's not a natural thing to do.
But you've been so far away that you've actually been staying not on set, but very nearby.
Yeah, so, fun fact I learned about Riverside is that in Riverside County, if it's a government-owned property, then there's no permit associated with shooting.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So they had... the first 3 days of our shoot were at a abandoned animal hospital.
Okay.
And
not what it's going to be in the film.
No, I mean it was used as like a torture chamber essentially in the film. But
this sounds interesting. I might have to check this film out. Hey,
it's pretty good. I can vouch for the sound at least. The pictures look pretty great. And the performances, obviously, I was watching those.
Yeah.
The direction and everything, the whole thing. Yeah, I can speak for everything. I can speak for the whole thing. But I guess I can't speak for post yet, because that hasn't happened.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I guess they could just be like, oh, let's hire a kid.
Let's edit this into a romantic comedy right now. All right, we're cutting the torture chamber part out.
You're gonna see like a little kid with like a big ass scar across his chest, and it's Tom Hanks like calling like, is the boy okay?
And then Corey will never go see it.
It is to be loved by you.
Corey will never see it because it has Tom Hanks in it.
Yeah.
He just refuses to see Tom Hanks movies.
I'm sure it would help my IMDb star meter to just be in the same credits as Tom Hanks. So
very true.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's no permit
probably
required.
get some more clicks. Well, so there's a permit required, but there's no fee for the permit.
Oh, okay.
You shoot in a building owned by Riverside.
So in updated news, Oh The Anthem, moving to Riverside County. We'll be shooting everything exclusively in abandoned buildings in Riverside County.
Yeah,
so hey, there you go.
By the government, it's free essentially. So,
yeah.
But it was the idea is to make something as good as possible with not as little investment as possible.
Right.
I want to make it sound like it was pinched pennies or anything like that, but
it's a micro budget film.
It's a proof of concept style feature film, and I was just so overjoyed to be a part, and everyone said nice things about my work. And,
yes, yeah.
Including
the people who got called as references.
Yeah.
So nice things about your work. Saying. But no, my original question though, so you actually, is this the first time you've stayed away as part of the film?
This is the first one that I had to, I guess, quote unquote, travel for.
Right, yeah.
Because a lot of people will put in their websites or, Facebook posts or whatever, willing to travel, which basically means that if a movie is shooting in Atlanta for a month, then they will fly you from LA to Atlanta, put you up in a hotel.
Right.
And then you shoot the entire time, and, there's off days and stuff like that. But you stay in Atlanta for the month shoot,
right.
And then you fly back at the end.
And that's going to be interesting. If you ever have to go to Atlanta for the week, I don't know what we're going to...
Well, the thing is that if I'm going somewhere for a while, it's probably going to be longer than a week.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'm already seeing Rachel like pop her head up like a groundhog.
Hey, I'm saying, what now?
What? You mean to tell me that you might go somewhere for a month and make an absurd amount of money? How dare you?
Now, and here's the thing. I said, I don't know, maybe 50 episodes ago on the podcast, I said there's going to come a time when you're going to go away for, I don't know, 2 months to a set, and Rachel is going to quit her job and travel with you. And that look tells me I probably was right about that. She's like, you know what, if it's enough money, I mean, I could quit and just come with you, I guess.
Well, I was talking to Lafferty, the DP, and he had a job that took him to China, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it was 6 weeks in China. And part of the arrangement was that they also paid for an additional 2 weeks afterwards in the hotel.
Okay.
So he could travel and like see the sights in China.
How that is so worth
like an incredible perk to go with the thing.
Yeah.
And he spent the extra 2 weeks just like going all over China and checking it out. And I just couldn't imagine if I said to Rachel like, hey, by the way, I got the opportunity to go to England for the shoot.
Yeah.
And on top of the 6 weeks that I'm there, they're gonna give me an extra 2 weeks to just hang out in London.
And then she says, oh, so they're giving us 2 weeks in London?
You can come to London, and you can enjoy yourself, and then realize that I'm going to go to set, come back, and like basically what I do is I walk in the door, I do my sound notes as quickly as humanly possible, and then I hit the bed like this. Like,
I just pass out, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm dead. Dead to the world.
And while they'll be paying for your flight out there and your hotel,
I'll be paying for Rachel's.
Yeah, you'll be paying for Rachel's $1,500 flight out there and the hotel.
Well, that's part of the reason why for the dreams of my directing career, I always wanted to have everything filmed in Baltimore because it would be easy enough to go home for a month and a half or 2 months or whatever it might be.
Right.
And, get Rachel out there for like a weekend or a week at a time and just like, have family around and friends and people that I'm associated with from back home. And it would just be way easier than, going to Georgia or something like that. But if somebody wants to pay me to go to Georgia, then I will go. I will literally go anywhere, I think, if the money is right.
And at what point when she says no, are you going to listen? Is there a 6 weeks in Mogadishu and you're like she's like I really would like you not to do that.
Rachel's like, that's not even a place. You made that up. That's not an actual. There's no film happening.
Yeah.
You're not going to Mocha Cafe. There's no film work there. No, it's all part of the how much is it worth it conversation.
Right.
Like, somebody could I could hypothetically be on set tomorrow.
Right.
But at this point, with how tired and broken I am, it would take. There has to be more gain in it for me to do that.
Yeah.
At some point, you need to have the time off to relax and rest.
Yeah.
And try and make your body right.
And I will say, Rachel's probably the least jealous person that I have ever met in my life, and that's not maybe not saying much based on the fact that I date like the craziest women in the world.
Right.
But I did see a flash of jealousy this week as you two were FaceTiming, and there was a wait, who's that? And turn the phone around. It's Joey. It's the guy that I share the room with. But she thought maybe for a second that there was somebody else.
There was a shirtless man in a bed. And she was like, "Who is that? Who is that?"
Yeah. But it was interesting to see that aspect that I have never seen her get even like a little bit jealous at all. So just seeing it a little bit. Seeing a little bit was a flash of.
You don't have a mic, nobody can hear you.
Seeing a little bit of it was just interesting, but and possibly my fault. I may or may not have been
stirring the pot
the entire time.
Yeah.
Like when you called and then she immediately called you back and you didn't pick up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I used to do this with Corey all the time too while I was having sex, and then I couldn't pick him up. And that was an interesting thing. So, FaceTime is a new advent. Clearly, it's not something we've had around forever.
To be fair, it's Google Duo, which
okay,
I actually like a lot because the call quality is incredible.
Yeah.
Not to give a free plug to Google Duo, but I mean, I guess we are on YouTube.
We're on YouTube,
so
right?
And might as well pitch the mothership.
Better than its competitors, Face whatever. And
Flash.
And I don't have an iPhone, so we call it FaceTiming, which maybe is a bad thing because it's all FaceTiming.
Like Band-Aids.
Yes, yeah. But I was flashback while you guys were having that conversation to in being in college and how many times you called me at inopportune moments, let's say, and I picked up the phone just because.
Had there been video chat,
yes.
I would have seen a lot of nipples.
Wait, mine or somebody else's?
Well, I'm saying there would have been at least 4 nipples. You still have 2, correct?
I do.
Yeah, so I probably would have seen at least 4 nipples.
Yes, yeah. At least 4, just depending on the situation.
Maybe 3. I'm not judging.
It's just weird to think, and it's one of those things that you feel like FaceTiming has been around for a long time. But
yeah.
We were in college 10 years ago, and it was not around then. So
I remember Skype had its limitations then. It was just. It's a different world we live in.
Oh, well, for Skype, first of all, we had the desktop. We didn't have the laptop. And we had the little camera that you have to put up on top of your
like a
CRT
480p camera.
Yeah. And mine, I could never tell when it was on because I used that marker to black out the light. Why did I do that? That's a story for another time.
Nobody knows.
But, so you've been having a good time on set.
Yeah.
And it sounds like...
And I go back for more this coming week, which I'm very excited about.
And like I say, I'm excited now that it sounds like we're going to get to meet at least some of the people from the set.
Because the joy of having a green screen is that you can offer it to people to use. And it looks like people will be by this week to do that. And then that'll probably push next week's podcast to Sunday as well, but not midnight on Sunday. Let's
hope not midnight. But yeah, so I've been following the pictures and everything else. And of course, if you want to follow along, you can as well at LegendCB5 on Instagram. He's been posting from set. Certainly not creeper shots. That's definitely not what it was. And do you let people follow you on Snapchat? Are you a public Snapchatter?
Yeah.
Where can they find you on Snapchat?
At LegendCB5.
Really? Oh, hey. How about
on Twitter at LegendCB5.
Ooh, hey.
And if you want to follow my official Facebook page, it's at Corey Baker Film, facebook.com/Corey Baker Film.
There we go.
Yeah.
And CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com.
Yes.
If I remember correctly.
Where you will see me talk about my life on set as well, in my blog, which is updated every so often.
Every so often.
Yeah. When I get around to it.
But so I will say that we had some other news in the O The Anthem world this week.
Yes.
Well, specifically, I guess, tonight.
Yeah.
So
I saw the tweet on the way home, and I was just like, "Oh, well, we're talking about this on the podcast."
Yeah. Finally, God, who knows how long? So
somewhere back on the Eastern Shore, Kenny is vaping and going finally.
The tweet was up maybe 2 minutes before it got liked by Kenny. Big shout out to Kenny. You guys probably remember Kenny from the Dirty Shore Underground podcast. New episodes. Some point. Although I will say that the guys are really excited. There's been a lot of upheaval in their lives. If you want to follow Kenny, you definitely can do that on Twitch. Make sure you check out Dirty Shore UG on Twitch. He does broadcasts on Twitch pretty often.
Yeah.
And
you can find that shit on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, of course. And Tony and him are getting together, and they're trying to get some new episodes together, so that'll be up for you guys hopefully later on this fall. And, of course, when Corey and I are back in the 216, we are going to try to get together with the guys to do something.
Yeah.
Tony really wants us to do the pec deck workout with him. But judging from your few days of being on set, I'm not 100% sure your doctor will clear you for that. So, I mean, listen, Tony's got diabetes and a couple of health problems, and he's out there teaching people the pec deck, and I don't think he would recommend you actually do it. So,
I will say this. It's a little bit unnerving to me every time I make the joke about, like, well, I am a world-class athlete, or, like, whenever we're watching, like, Ultimate Beastmaster, I'm just like, oh, well, this seems awfully easy. Why are they having so much trouble, like, shimmying up a wall with a pole?
Yeah.
or like going across like rope monkey bars, if you will.
Yeah.
It's like, this all seems painfully easy, and everyone laughs. I'm just like, why is it so funny?
Right.
Why doesn't this look like a body that can handle Ultimate Beastmaster?
And then you go on set for a few days.
We were talking about like, we had way too many conversations at the hotel about how we could jump in the pool from the balcony. There was a balcony that was right over the pool.
You can't.
And I told everybody, it was just like, do not think that you could jump from the balcony or the railing.
Yeah.
Was like it could shake. Like you could shake it when you were like.
Not good. Not good.
Not in like a like this whole shit's gonna fall apart any second kind of way.
It's a little wobbly.
A little wobbly.
Yeah.
Which means that if you got up there and you tried to push off of it to make the like 7-foot clearance into the pool, you're just going to like tumble downward onto your head and into the concrete below.
Your feet are just gonna move backwards a foot, and you're just gonna go straight downward.
It's gonna be fail army all day, and.
But you know what you need to do is we've done the math on this and we've planned it out. You need to get a running start from inside of the apartment and then go out and over so it's all going that direction.
Yeah, you need the inertia.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, so back to the original topic, which is the calls is finally finished. I don't want to say that it is in its 100% final version. Because I am luckily I have some really great helpers, and they are going to go through and redline and do no more content changes. That's what I was it's done for content.
Right.
And now it's going to be, hey, you used the wrong your, you used the wrong to.
Yeah.
Hey, I thought you had a degree.
By the way, I would like to point out I gave a script to somebody once to read.
Yeah.
And when it was after first draft.
Right.
I gave them the script to read. And I got a note back going like, maybe the script writing thing isn't for you. There were a lot of grammatical errors in this. And I'm just like, yeah, but you're also writing this at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're bound to make a couple of mistakes, and that's what editing is for. This is why I give it to other people to look over, because everyone will fucking miss these things.
Right, and when
Stephen King will make spelling mistakes and grammatical mistakes when he writes books, and he is a professional writer with many.
When you write it,
many writing credits. Like
when you write it, you know what it says, and too often you read through the error.
Right.
So like it actually doesn't pop out to you that this is spelled wrong, because in your mind you see it spelled the right way because you're just kind of flowing right past it.
Yeah.
And I am on version 5.4, which means I've gone through 1.1 through 3, 2.1 through 3, and now I'm on 5.4 of this particular book. So there is so much that it's been read and reread. Who knows? But I'm sure that there are some grammatical errors in it, there's some spelling errors. So that's going to be fixed. But content-wise, it's all done. It's now planning to be out by Christmas time of this year, which means for the 4th consecutive year, I will have a book out. I'm very excited about that.
Round of applause for Rob. Round of applause for Rob.
I was getting a little worried because it had gotten towards the end of the year, and I had not had I did not have a book out. It looks like somebody's joined us in the live chat here at 12:11 a.m. I want to say, I do believe that this is Roberto checking in. Probably. So, hey, Roberto. Hey, look. Hey. Thanks for joining us, Roberto. But yeah, so very excited to have the book out. And it's edited and done. I do have to, like I said, get the one last editing through, and then no more publishers for me. We're going to go straight self-publishing. It's looking like it's going to be a variant production, variant entertainment something. Yeah. Figure out a label to put on it and put it out self-publishing. So you guys will be able to get that relatively cheaply by Christmas time of this year. So I'm very excited. But more than that, of course, I can't sit on my laurels and do nothing. NaNoWriMo starts in a few days.
Did you listen to Script Notes this week when they were talking about NaNoWriMo?
I'm not sure. Oh, yes. Yeah, they talked to the guy from NaNoWriMo.
August and the guy from NaNoWriMo.
And I am such a huge fan of NaNoWriMo. My very first book, I don't know if you remember this, 2012, the very first novel I wrote was a product of NaNoWriMo. Because just not to rehash the story too much, but I was very upset with being bored at work and not really having a creative outlet. So I heard about it, and I said, I'm going to write this book in 30 days, 50,000 words in 30 days, and 6 months later, I had a contract for my first novel.
Yeah.
which is just crazy to me. Roberto checking in again in the chat says they're listening to everything we say, and that he's going to help translate the new novel into Spanish. So we'll see about that.
We should get the Espanol audiobook.
Yes,
read by Roberto.
Read by Roberto. So we'll see. But I don't know if we chronicled it much on the podcast itself, but I started a book earlier this year that was unfortunately lost in a series of unfortunate events, let's say.
Mini snippets, if you will.
Yes. So I am going to rewrite that book, and I wrote about 50,000 words in about 6 weeks in the first draft, so I'm just going to cut that down to 4 weeks. But here's my message to everybody. You probably won't have time to do NaNoWriMo. I know you joined a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And you didn't write anything.
Well, that was also when I was doing like 90-hour weeks at Nelson.
Yes.
And by the time I got home, I was just not in the creative headspace. So like, if I would have written, it would have been just like the quick brown fox. Bye.
So here's a question: can I get you to join NaNoWriMo this year?
Yeah, I'm actually planning on not doing a novel, but doing screenplay.
It's got to be a novel.
It doesn't have to be a novel.
Because how are you going to hit 50,000 words in a screenplay? That's going to be a long screenplay.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be 50,000 words either. It can just be a screenplay in a month.
The whole point of the National Novel Writing Month is to write your novel. Don't you have any ideas that would be good for a novel? Come on. I know you got a couple of things kicking around in there.
See, but I always think about these things as movies. That's the problem.
Dude, my entire writing career has been, I have a movie universe in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm writing chapters of it in the form of novels.
I'll give it some thought. I was just going to write a screenplay in November.
No, you should
that my thing.
Write a novel with me. Well, you know what we can do? We can set up a team on NaNoWriMo for O The Anthem.
Team O The Anthem?
Yes, and people can join, and you can write along with us. You can see how we're doing. You can try to keep up with me, because God knows, it might be a little test. It might be a test for people to just try and keep up with me when it comes to the writing. Because
it's funny. I was thinking about this. If I could easily scorch 50,000 words, probably in a couple days.
Okay.
If I go with the idea that I just had for a book on the way back.
Okay.
Because we won't get into it now. We'll save this for a dry week where we can argue with each other. But I was thinking about how people used to make fun of rappers for their weak rhymes.
Okay.
Back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, I remember I liked Chingy, for example.
Chingy? Yeah. Oh my God, throw it back.
I thought Chingy had a couple songs that I really enjoyed. But everybody, like, anytime I'd say, like, oh, the new Chingy album's not bad, they'd be like, Chingy is weak, man. His rhymes are weak. He's terrible. There's no redeeming value in Chingy. And I'm just like, well, it's just good fun. Why do you care what I like?
Right.
Now we have literally the worst rap ever. And none of it means anything, and none of them even rap. So I thought what might be a really funny joke book is just picking out random words and just writing them out of order and not make them have any grammatical sense. Don't have nouns and adverbs and verbs and conjunctions and like make them fit in any particular way.
Yeah.
Just literally throw fucking random words on a page and just like the tale of our society by Little Corey Bird or whatever, and then it'll just be like platypus, period. Redonkulous, period. Cucumber. Penguin, papyrus. And then it'll just be that over and over for 50,000 words, and it'll be my contribution. Because clearly, it doesn't matter anymore. I mean, like any bad word that anyone ever said about Chingy or Fabulous or Ludacris or any of these people who people used to tell me had weak rhymes means nothing now. So maybe we can extend this same logic into the book world, and I could just write 50,000 random words that mean nothing, and then just put a little in front of my name, and a ridiculous cover art of me between like two big booty bitches. And it'll sell itself. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead.
Rachel's giving me the look, by the way. They're like, where are you gonna find two big booty bitches? It's Hollywood.
I would give you
out
that.
there.
Instagram, go.
Instagram. It's for the taking.
I'm going to go ahead and rescind my offer. We are not going to do a team OTA for NaNoWriMo. If that's what Corey's going to be doing, I want no part of it.
If that's what Corey's novel is going to be.
Yes, but without him, I will be starting a team O The Anthem for National Novel Writing Month. I highly encourage people, take the opportunity. You have 9 days now to sit down and come up with an idea. I think everybody has this thing rattling around their head. I haven't seen this, and this would be good. I've done that 4 times now, and I'm going to have 4 published novels by the end of the year. And here's a chance to get a 5th one. Join me in doing National Novel Writing Month. You have to basically dedicate yourself to doing 1,600 words a day. If you're lucky, you can do like me and bang out 3,000 words on one day, and then take a rest day if you want. Or on the weekends, you can catch up. Like I didn't finish last year. Last year was a bit of a year for us in November. So I ended up starting and then not even really getting that far into the novel.
Yeah.
But I highly encourage everybody to join me in National Novel Writing Month. Go sign up at NaNoWriMo. That's NaNoWriMo.org. And you can sign up and get a whole profile there. And like I said, I'm going to try and set up a team for us, and we can all get together and share our information. You'll be able to follow along on all social networks and see how we're doing. I'm going to try to get Corey on board in the next 9 days to actually write a legitimate novel with some idea that he has. And I know it's difficult.
Listen, if I want to just go out there and try and make some easy cash, I don't see what the point is. Other people are doing it. I might as well get involved.
So
I might as well make my novel like sponsored by Sprite and put it out there, and just it means nothing. It's just vapid commercialism, and there we go.
It's difficult for me because I have such a hard time putting myself in your shoes. It's so easy for me to come up with ideas. They just blow. It's like every day they're just flowing out of my head. In fact, Roberto and I last night were sitting here, and I had like a kernel of an idea, and we went outside, and in 20 minutes, we fleshed out the beats of an entire screenplay.
Right.
And I could just take I got 9 days before NaNoWriMo starts. I might just write that entire screenplay, all 95 to 100 pages.
Fine, go for it. Enjoy yourself. Still haven't heard about this thing.
I mean, I
heard of it. I don't know what the gist is, but we'll save that for another time.
Okay, all right, yeah.
We should move on to depressing news of the week.
Yes.
There are many things that happened this week. Do you want to start with the Los Angeles news?
I do want to start with Los Angeles news.
We teased it up front with the intro.
We don't do enough Los Angeles news for being here.
Yeah.
And that's because, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you look at it, Los Angeles news is really the news of the world pretty often.
Yeah.
It's when something happens.
Olympics.
Oh, hey, yeah. When something happens here, it's news everywhere, so it's hard to say.
Weinstein.
Yes, it's hard to say that something is Los Angeles, but this in and of itself is Los Angeles news.
Yes. Well, I mean, I guess it is national news too.
Sure, but it touches us.
The culmination of. So, I'm sure you've heard by now, but the Los Angeles Dodgers are going to be playing the Houston Astros in the World Series. First time since 1970 that two teams with 100 wins in a season are facing each other in the World Series. Do you know who won that World Series, by the way, the 1970 World Series?
I don't know.
Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, hey, yeah. I played that up a little too hard.
Yeah.
Ooh. But the good news is, the better news than even that, the New York Yankees are not in the World Series.
Yeah. By the way, I have for a long time had a love affair with Katie Nolan.
Yes.
But unfortunately, I would never be able to watch her because who the fuck watched Fox Sports 1 unless there was an actual game to watch on it.
Yes.
I'm not gonna watch Skip Bayless. Why would I lower myself to that sort of thing?
Mm.
But Katie Nolan, rising star, was on shit. I can't even remember the show. It's the Dan Le Batard, highly questionable or whatever. I can't remember. I stopped watching ESPN in the afternoons. But they brought up the thought of, is this Yankees team likable? And she torched them, and I have to say, kudos to you, Katie Nolan, for saying what we were all thinking. No, this Yankee team is not likable. Just because they're slightly more likable than they have been in the past doesn't mean that they're...
Doesn't make you likable.
Yeah. Just because Tom Hanks gets AIDS doesn't mean AIDS is more likable.
Right.
It just means Just because it happens to somebody that everybody loves doesn't mean that it's more likable now. It just means that it's just not as terrible as it was. It has.
I will say, I do love that all of my friends who are Yankees fans were 2 days before the game talking about, like, this is our year. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
And then they lost, and they're like, rebuilding year. We're rebuilding. That's all.
We weren't supposed to be here at this point.
Weren't even supposed to be here. It's not like they...
We're not even supposed to be here today.
Yeah. So glad the Yankees aren't there.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a battle.
By the way,
of the World Series.
just, since we're sort of recapping the Yankees season for whatever reason, how in the world, if there is a just God in this universe, why is someone like Aaron Judge allowed to play on the team like the Yankees? I mean, like, he should be on like the Cincinnati Reds or something like that. He should be on a team that doesn't have anything else going for it. I mean, I'm not trying to make fun of like Joey Votto or anybody else on the team, but I'm saying like, what's so joyful about baseball is that every once in a while somebody breaks out of nowhere, and they usually play for a team that doesn't have, like, when Ken Griffey Jr. joined the Mariners.
Right.
There was no reason to watch the Mariners, and then Griffey came along. He was an aberration. He's like nothing anybody had ever seen before. And fucking kids in Taiwan were wearing Mariners hats because Griffey was so amazing.
Right.
You can't. It's literally unfair to have Aaron Judge play in the Yankees. He should be in the Midwest somewhere. If I'm commissioner of baseball tomorrow, I'm taking him away from the Yankees. I'm making an executive decision.
Sorry, can't play anything.
You can listen when he becomes a free agent in 5 years. You can pay an absorbent amount of money to get him to the Yankees. But in the meantime, off to Milwaukee with you. I can't. Can't deal with this shit.
As long as it's not 2018, because they're going to be spending that money on Manny Machado that year. So.
By the way, just another aside on baseball, just for a second. How pissed are you if you are Dusty Baker at the moment? You win 2 straight NL East titles and you get fired.
Oh, but the Washington can only put up with so much losing in the playoffs, and the Capitals are going to be taking that title all the time. All right, so it is what it is. I'm sorry.
Washington hasn't gotten out of the first round of the playoffs since like 1992. By the way, just remember that.
And none of their teams can do anything.
Since the Redskins made it to the World Series in whatever year in the 90s that was. It was
Redskins made it to the World Series?
Or Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Sorry. That is the World Series on the brain. World Series on the brain. Anywho.
Yeah. 1992 when the Redskins won the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yes.
We
91. But the game was played in January of 92.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we moved to Los Angeles and then promptly, for the first time in 28 years, the Dodgers go to the World Series. We brought the rain. We brought the Dodgers to the World Series. What else do you have to do to give us a stipend to stay here?
I know. Come on, King of Hollywood. Where are you?
We've been waiting patiently for you to show up.
But no, and this is
a proclamation from Garcetti would be enough.
I would
in the meantime, I would appreciate just a little attaboy from the mayor, like.
But I mean, it's basically the same team.
An attaboy from future President Eric Garcetti would be all I need.
It's basically the same team that lost last year to the Cubs.
Right.
The only difference I really see, Kershaw played or was pitching the game that was the break game, but he won this time, and they're going to the World Series.
Well, they also have Cody Bellinger now, who's going to be an Rookie of the Year.
Listen. The only difference I really see is that we're in LA now. And we are within viewing distance of Dodger Stadium.
I mean, all these things. I mean, maybe Cody Bellinger wouldn't be NL Rookie of the Year if it wasn't for us. I'm just saying. I don't know how this cosmic circumstance works. I just know that we're here for it.
We're just trying to keep track. That's all that really matters.
But yeah, so thankfully or unthankfully, I will not be in Los Angeles on Tuesday when Game 1 happens.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag.
I can't even imagine what the hellscape of the 101 is going to look like for you when you're trying to get home from work.
Yeah, so
during the Dodger game,
the bosses are having a company gathering, a company event at Staples Center. We're gonna go see a Clippers game. They got a suite at a Clippers game.
Oh,
so super nice. Shout out to my bosses at Create Music Group. And
Clippers game. That only set them back about like $300.
The Clippers are the better team in Los Angeles right now. I don't know if you're paying attention, but nonetheless. So I originally was thinking, oh, my plan is I'm going to leave from work.
There's certainly a team in Los Angeles.
My plan originally was I'm going to leave from work and come home and probably like hang out for a little while, and then I'll just change and go down to the game.
Right.
They were getting a van to pick everybody up from work. We have a lot of people who live out in the valley and both San Gabriel and San Fernando. So everybody just come to work, hang out for a little while after work, and then we'll take a van downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to just drive myself, and then I saw that the Dodgers won, and there was going to be a World Series game in LA on Tuesday. And now I'm thinking, maybe I'll take the van to the Staples Center and I'll Uber back home and worry about getting my car tomorrow, the day after. I can't
take the Metro on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's just because I can't imagine how the 101 is one of the worst highways I've ever been on.
And by the way, again, people make fun of Dodger fans for showing up in the third inning and leaving early. It's literally because the 101, the 110, all these things right around a Dodger game are worse than any traffic in the world.
You cannot imagine the hellscape that it literally is. It's that on a normal day.
Like, you hear about stories about like some traffic jam in China that got people stuck for like 4 days.
Yeah.
Like someday, like the reason that there's going to be a World Series game here where it's the fifth inning, there's like 4 people there because everyone's stuck on the 101 trying to get. We are, as the crow flies, like a mile away from less than a mile away from Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
And it took us, when we were going to the World Baseball Classic, like an hour and a half to get there.
Yeah. Not a Dodger game.
Yeah. And we didn't even get on the highway.
That was just side streets.
Yeah, that was literally taking Sunset to Vince Gully, and then I didn't even get to the stadium after an hour and a half. I got out and walked up a fucking mountain to get there. So
yeah. On Saturday
they need a fucking funicular on the side of the Elysian Hills
just
to get
take you up.
Yeah.
Just take you up.
I don't know why they spent all this money getting Angels Flight back up. They need one on the side of the Elysian Hills.
Dodgers Flight.
Yeah, Dodgers Flight.
Come on.
Give me a Vince Scully flight.
But I went to Sunset and the 101 on Saturday from our house, and it took me an hour and a half round trip.
Oh.
And I took Sunset one direction. That wasn't a good choice. So I was like, oh, all right, I'll jump on the 101. Not a good choice either. There's no good choice in LA. It's just all traffic all the time. And I was sick, and I didn't want to be in my car.
Sometimes I look at Google Maps, and it's just like...
cancel. It's always listening.
Yeah.
It's always listening.
Sometimes I'll look, and it'll say, like, for whatever reason, I'll have to go to, like, Santa Monica at, like, 6:30. And I'll be like, all right, so how long would this take if I just took Beverly Boulevard the whole way? It's like, it'll take like an hour and 45 minutes. I'm like, so less than the 10.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Less than the 10 in the 405. Cool. I'll just do that. I'll sit in lights. I don't care.
Because you might get lucky and catch like a string of greens. It'll cut some time out.
At the very least, I'll be moving somewhat.
Well, no, because, and here's the other thing. We've said it before. You do move in LA traffic. It's almost worse, though. Because when you do want to get moving and you're just rolling, you're just rolling at 10 miles an hour. You can't even stop to be on your phone because you're actually moving. It's a pain in the ass.
It's also like why I would desperately like to get back into an automatic transmission at some point here. Because then I could just take my foot off the brake and just sort of like creep forward.
Let it creep, yeah.
As opposed to having to shift into first, like just move a little bit and then like get up off the clutch. Get into neutral and sit there.
Well, you can always just sit there and then just let people cut you off as soon as there's 3/4 of the room for them to get in front of you.
I'm starting to think that maybe, I mean, like it doesn't rain here, so I don't have to worry about like any bad or inclement weather for this kind of situation.
Yeah.
But maybe just cutting like a Fred Flintstone style foothole in the middle of my car, so that when I'm stuck in traffic, I can just sort of like can just push myself through traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, back to the World Series.
That conversation started with baseball.
Yeah. So the Dodgers are in the World Series. It's going to make life hell around here, but it's also going to make life exciting because it's fun to see a city that doesn't really have a lot to do with baseball all season long, kind of getting fired up about baseball now.
Well, also, fun fact: most people in Los Angeles can't watch the Dodgers in their home.
That's true. Yeah.
People don't know this. Like, in Baltimore, you buy any cable package and you get Massey, and you get to watch the Orioles and the Nationals. I mean, I guess if you wanted to do that himself.
Sure. You have to figure out who's playing on Masson and who's on Masson too.
Yeah, and then you go to Masson, and then it's just like, the Nationals play the Reds tonight. I'm like, oh, god damn it, Masson too.
Yeah. And they're not next to each other, because that would make too much sense.
Yeah, they're 50 channels apart from one another. But if you don't have Time Warner cable, which only a certain percentage of Los Angeles can get,
and not a high percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you can't watch the Dodgers. That's the only cable provider that has the Dodgers. And it's not because of anything, like, it's not like other cable stations don't have the ability to get the frequency for the Dodger game or something like that. It's just that the price that they were asking for the Dodger network was so crazy that it would add like $30 to your bill whether or not you wanted the Dodgers or not. And nobody's gonna fucking do that.
I'm good on that. Thank you.
Time Warner basically negotiated this like $8 billion deal with the Dodgers to get their television rights, and they were just like, everyone's gonna want the Dodgers, and then everyone's like, nope. So now Spectrum is paying for the Dodgers, and nobody. I think they said like only 20% of Los Angeles can actually watch the games, and of that 20%, only like 5% do. Yeah. So luckily, your only hope is to go to the games, go to the Dodger Stadium and see them, which I did see the Dodgers twice this year.
Yeah.
Or you go to a bar
yeah.
that has access to Time Warner.
Well, luckily for Time Warner, though, the games that really count, these playoff games, they have an exclusive for, so no one else will be able to watch them unless they're... Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's on Fox. Enjoy. Free over the air. The most exciting games of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Take that one, Time Warner.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's nice to see that the city is warming to baseball. Everybody's kind of excited about it. And
the brand is in Dodger blue, and so is City Hall. It's all very nice.
Yeah, and we'll see. This could go one of two ways, both of which may end up with the city burning at the end of it. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see.
It's always in the periphery.
It could always happen. I'm just imagining, like, fired up white people start burning stuff, and Stephanie Rawlings-Blake comes in from Baltimore County, like, you know what? We just need to give them room to destroy, okay? Sometimes it happens.
Listen, it's been almost 30 years since they won. Give them a chance. Let them have their fun. Jesus Christ.
Well, and speaking of Baltimore, maybe we should talk about a little Baltimore news?
Oh. Go to the Baltimore corner.
Where you get the straight dope?
Oh, I love that transition. That's nice.
Oh, yes.
That's sweet.
So we do want to talk a little bit of Baltimore because, you know, we are your Baltimore podcast.
Right.
Despite the fact that we're not there.
3,000 miles away.
But you were really, really fired up about this Baltimore story. So I'm going to let you take the lead on it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it was announced this week that Catherine Pugh climbed out of the hole in which she hides from people and announced that they have put together the mother of all perk packages for Amazon's second headquarters, which every
HQ2.
Yeah, HQ2, which every city in the country seems to be vying for.
Yes.
Except for Los Angeles, which, like, I think Garcetti's statement was just like, do I really need to sell Los Angeles to people? Just come here.
It was 90 degrees today.
Like every single Twitter, like Los Angeles news Twitter is just like Los Angeles time. Garcetti's pitch to Amazon. Come on, it's LA. Why wouldn't you want to be here?
And honestly, it's not a bad pitch.
It's not a bad pitch.
It was 90 degrees today with no humidity on October the 22nd. Yeah. Why would you not want to be here? Come on. Nice. Instead, you go to Baltimore.
Yeah. Hey, pronounce that city?
Come for the shootings and stay because you're dead.
Stay because your family can identify you at the morgue.
There you go. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. So Amazon and Baltimore. Yeah.
Dark. Put it on a shirt.
Oh. Come for the murder. Stay because your family can't identify your body. We're gonna work it. We'll spitball that. I feel like there's a snappier version of it, but yeah.
So, despite the fact that we don't have enough money to afford school teachers or infrastructure, and pipes are literally exploding under people's feet every single day.
Yeah, seems like
it. And buildings are falling down.
Right.
And the murder rate is going to eclipse 300 for the third year in a row.
Probably this month.
Yeah.
Not even at the end of the year.
2 months before the end of the year. Like.
Yeah.
somehow the city of Baltimore, and to an extent the state of Maryland, has proposed more than $1 billion in corporate welfare to get Amazon HQ2.
Yeah.
To which I ask, where was this money when all these other things were going? Like, I think if somebody said we were going to spend $1 billion to fix all the pipes, people would have been like, well, that seems like an awful lot of money, but hopefully that fixes the problem.
Yeah.
That's one thing that we can cross off our list. Or we're going to put $1 billion into having after-school programs for every single kid in Baltimore. And maybe that will give these kids a better chance of getting to a college, which means that they might have a chance to actually have a career one day.
Maybe at Amazon.
Which means that they wouldn't have to shoot each other on the streets over drugs.
Yeah.
And become productive members of society.
Now wait, to be fair, they did propose spending $1 billion on the Red Line.
Yeah.
Which you were not a fan of.
No, because it's fucking stupid. Number one, that's way too much money for a train. Number two, who the fuck was gonna... Nobody uses the light rail we have. Like...
Well, they do. They just don't pay to use it. They do what you do.
Nobody ever checks your ticket. Yeah, fun fact. Use the light rail for free. Fuck them.
Rip off a piece of newspaper if somebody comes by, just like shake it in their face. Yeah, I get it.
Be on your phone. Just be like, do you mind? I'm this is an important call. And let's just keep moving. Like, it doesn't matter. Like,
oh my god.
Tickets, sir. Do you mind? I'm on the phone with my cardiologist.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have heart arrhythmia.
I'm sorry. Yes.
It's just like, I need your ticket.
Wait, let's get a close with that. Go ahead.
I'm on the phone with my cardiologist.
Can I get your ticket? I need your ticket. All right. So yeah. So $1 billion package.
Yeah, not just $1 billion, by the way, but $1 billion plus.
Yes. Yeah.
Some people have estimated it might be $1.8 billion.
That would be $2 billion.
With a B. With
$2
a B.
billion. And of course, they're looking at putting it in South Baltimore, Port Covington.
Yeah. Which we spoke extensively about in a past episode called Port Covington.
Luckily, they have already done everything they need to do to make sure that they're not going to be paying any taxes on the ground there.
Right.
So they're fine. Under Armour took care of that, so there's no ground taxes. But I mean, here's the argument, though. It'll bring in so many new workers that all those people will need to live and eat and have a nightlife. That'll be good for Baltimore, right?
I mean, I can certainly see how this will add to business in Baltimore.
Sure.
Because like when you're working your 15-hour day because you gotta spend all day at Amazon to try and work your way up.
And Jeff Bezos is holding your feet to the fire,
right? And, you gotta do those ones and zeros until we make a profit,
right? Yeah.
I'm sure, like Uber Eats will be very busy bringing food from Pickles Pub to. So, like, obviously a couple shillings go to Pickles Pub or whoever, what other restaurant.
I mean, Pickles will probably open up a Port Covington location, too.
Yeah, just to make it easier.
Yeah.
The drivers not have to drive so far.
Right.
But I really don't see the logic. So, Seattle is where HQ1 is.
Right.
And since Amazon opened in Seattle, rent is now 7 times the national increase in Seattle. And most people who work at Amazon and drive into Amazon spend 15 minutes driving into work every day. And then another 15 minutes at the end of it driving home.
So wait, so let me... if you were to do the same in Baltimore, that, by my calculation, would not put you in the city, living in the city.
Look, you'd be in Aberdeen, or Havre Grace, or something.
Or with traffic, could just be Columbia, really.
Or Ken Island, or...
I guess you could be living... 50 minutes is not... Columbia to Port Covington is not that...
I mean, technically you can live in Dundalk, but why would anyone want to do that?
And, the 50 minutes is you, Fred Flintstoning your car out of Dundalk first and then getting into a real vehicle. But, by the way, I am 90% sure that there's a glass of spilled wine on our couch right now.
Probably, yeah. Oh, no, it's on the coffee table. Thank God.
Yes!
Small victories.
Small victories. Anyway, so the lesson from HQ1 is that, yes, it does create some jobs, I suppose.
Yes.
But the people who work those jobs don't live in the city that the jobs are created in. Yes, maybe there's a small increase with them eating lunch around.
There's certainly a short-term impact of people getting jobs or getting apartments in the city. but they're quickly priced out by the fact that people with new jobs move into the city and then make the people who can't afford the new exorbitant rents move further away.
Right. And they're already
much like here in LA, if you can't afford rent, which is a lot of people,
yes.
then you live in, the valley.
Very far.
Not necessarily like Encino. You live in like Sun Valley.
Yes.
Or Lancaster or something like that. And you drive the hour and 10 minutes to
places where no human should be living.
Right.
It's ridiculous. Especially with that commute on the 101 to get back to civilization. But it's they're trying to push the upper end living in Federal Hill already. So prices are already high in Fed Hill. Now imagine if those spaces get full and
Canton and
if you're working in Port Covington, are you living in Canton if you're working in Port Covington? I would go south, out of the city. I wouldn't go across the harbor.
I'd rather live in the city, but hypothetically, if I'm somebody who doesn't care about the city, I would live in like Anne Arundel County or something.
Right.
Like if I don't need to have the city life, like.
And to be fair, you could live in Brooklyn Park.
Yeah.
Brooklyn. Brooklyn is in the county, and probably pay less rent.
No, Brooklyn Park is in the county.
All right, Brooklyn's in the city. Brooklyn Park's in the county. Live in Brooklyn Park. Pay less, pay lower income taxes probably, and
pay less on property taxes too.
Less on property taxes, and you not get your water shut off because you missed one water bill.
Yeah, or because they made a mistake and charged you $190,000, and you're like, well, who do I call and complain about that? It's just like nobody. Shut off your water.
Either pay us or
$190,000 or get the fuck out. There's your choice.
Yeah. So. Maybe HQ2, not a great idea for Baltimore. I think that when they first started pitching this, we said it wasn't a good idea for Baltimore.
I just don't get where they found this $1 billion from. Like,
because they're not giving them $1 billion.
No, but I mean, like they're essentially saying we're not going to collect $1 billion worth of income that we would get if you were to come in here and do this the old-fashioned way.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I get. It's not like you're liquid $1 billion.
Because we're not. We're not. Not liquid $1 billion.
But like, if you're gonna, the amount of money that we spend trying to allure companies to come to our cities is just absurd.
Corporate welfare. That's all that it is. It's us paying companies to make money.
If you were at some point, I'm gonna have to just do the math like I did with what was that thing we were talking about a couple weeks ago?
The veterans benefits versus
NFL subsidies.
NFL subsidies, yes. Yeah.
If you were aware of how much of your tax money goes to like Target and Walmart, your head would fucking explode.
Well, I can give you that number, an approximation of the number now. $1 of your monthly or of your yearly paycheck goes to the food stamp program for people eating food and staying alive.
Yeah.
$4,000 of my tax. So this is based on my tax from 2015, which is probably significant differentiation. But $1.73 of my taxes went to the food stamp program. $4,000 of my taxes went to corporate welfare of one form or another. Whether it was Maryland paying people in or the federal government paying people or any number of other people.
Yeah.
It was all corporate welfare. Because, by the way, the federal food stamp program is not matched by Maryland, thanks to our Republican governor who cut out the bonuses on that program. So compare that. $4,000 to $1.73 of taxes. That's where it's going. So keep being mad at those welfare queens.
Yeah.
Who are feeding their children.
Yeah, by the way, every single time, think of it. It's like the people. I've always found the people who want to drug test people who get welfare particularly con.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how much drug tests cost. First of all.
That's first. Yes.
You would spend more than you would spend in welfare just drug testing these people.
Which, by the way, is the proof. It's proved. Arizona did it. Missouri did it. Tennessee did it. And of the 5 or 6 states that did it, they had a less than 1% failure rate.
Yeah.
And the test cost far more than the savings that they got by taking these people off.
And of that 1%, one of those states, I can't remember, they tested for weed, and they basically did what Major League Baseball did with like their steroid program.
Right.
Like that first year of the steroids where it's like, we're going to test everybody. Nobody's going to get in trouble. Nobody's name is associated with a failed drug test. We're just taking numbers here.
Right.
They're just like, we're not going to take away your food stamps if you test positive for marijuana, but we're going to make a note in your ledger.
Yeah.
Like, most of the people who are failing these drug tests were smoking pot, which is fucking essentially legal in most states at this point.
Not most, but half.
Yeah.
It is fully legal in some states, though. Yeah. It's alcohol in some states.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to Colorado, you can just buy a joint right now.
We did it.
Walk into a store and buy a joint.
We did that.
Yeah.
We did that. And in 2 months here in California. Yeah, it'll be the same way.
A month and a half, yeah.
Oh, God. Anyway, but yeah, so the amount of corporate welfare is ridiculous, which wasn't even the original point. The original point is that Baltimore, if you got $2 billion of investment one way or another, maybe go a different direction with it. Maybe, I hate privatizing things, but privatize the water supply and say, listen, we're going to privatize the water system, but you got to replace all the pipes. Yeah. That's the exchange. We're going to give you $2 billion worth of infrastructure costs, but you have to replace the pipes.
Right.
Okay. And then maybe we can get something accomplished, get something done.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's enough from the Baltimore corner.
We're getting straight to it.
Yes. All right. So we do have a couple more topics. We are about an hour, but I want to roll through 2 things really quickly. One is kind of a developing story, and we'll have to see where it goes in the next couple of weeks. But it did pop out this week that finally President Trump called the widow and the mother of a U.S. Army Ranger who was lost in Niger.
The pregnant widow.
Yes. Yeah. And the now mother of 1 plus pregnant.
Yeah.
And she finally got a call from the President of the United States. That call was taken, I believe, in a car with his mother and a congressman, a U.S. congressman.
Yes.
Or congresswoman, I apologize. Congresswoman. And that call did not go well. Did not go well.
Okay, so if you've been listening for quite a while, you would have heard at some point me say that I was at one point a Republican.
What?
And I mean, I officially changed it because there's no point in being a Republican in Los Angeles. You might as well be pissing into a fan. It's just gonna get everything all messy, and it doesn't matter anyway. I mean, the logic in Baltimore was that you're voting in a primary,
right?
And you could decide, like, you were one of 20 Republicans who had a chance to vote.
It really would have been easier if you guys just got together for dinner or something. Yeah, just selected someone.
Have a big dinner and just you, Larry Hogan, and a couple other people just get together.
All right, so who wants to be mayor? Who wants to run for mayor this time, huh? All right, you're up. Go ahead.
All right, Republican mayor winning the primary with 4 votes.
It's not that bad, yeah. But
I'm pretty sure the last guy who ran was dead. Was he dead?
No, we just didn't see him at all.
He didn't even bother running.
He didn't come out of it. Didn't even come out.
Well, I won the primary. That's good enough for me. See you later.
Anyway, so yes, you were used to be.
It's like when you buy a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It's like you can advertise it like oh, this person's on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They must be really important.
Nope, just bought it.
Purchased that.
Just bought it.
I ran for mayor. I won the Republican nomination. Seems like I'm a really good politician. Yeah.
Nope.
He's got the votes of 20 poor, sad people who decided to show up on election day.
They weren't poor. They weren't poor.
Well, no, but I mean like poor in soul. Poor
yes, character. Yes. Well, they're Republicans, so clearly.
Yeah, get back to me.
Yes.
Trump does things that are just fucking phenomenally stupid. And I wish, I mean, if it was anybody else, you would just apologize and move on.
Yes.
Or, I'm sorry that what I said came off the wrong way. Obviously, the loss of a military member in combat is something that we don't take lightly.
Hey, don't bury the lead. What did he actually say?
Oh, he said, clearly he knows what he signed up for. Yeah. Clearly he knows what he signed up for.
Yeah.
Clearly he knew he was going to die in war, so therefore we shouldn't be too upset that he died.
Right.
And that you are now going to be a single mother of
2.
Yeah.
Including 1 child who will never know. Never know their
one
father.
On the way.
Yeah.
Bun in the oven.
Yeah.
And what is fascinating about this is just how fucking they try and like turn it around into like somebody else's problem, and then it just keeps going worse and worse by the minute. So Trump called while they were on the way to. I don't think it was the funeral, but it was like meeting them, the body coming back to the airport or something like that. And the wife took the call on speaker, and in the car was it was LaDavid something. I can't remember the soldier's last name.
I can't either, but his first name was LaDavid though.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yes.
We'll get that.
But it was a local. It was his wife and his mother.
And the local congressional representative.
Yes, yeah.
And Trump was quick to the congressional representative basically told the media when asked that Trump said the completely brain dead remarks. And,
yes.
He knew what he signed up for, and she basically just said that's sad and stupid, and I can't believe he actually said that. And then Trump decided that like, oh, I'm going to take this moment to point at her for grandstanding the soldier's death. When I said something maybe inappropriate, but I'm never going to admit to that because I'm Donald Trump and I don't have that kind of time.
No.
So I'm going to go, how dare you? You were taking this moment and you were trying to grandstand. Turns out that the congressional representative knew this guy for decades. They were really close. They were family friends. He got into the military because she started a program in Florida to help people who were poor and in need of direction in their life to get into military service.
Oh, and by the way, nobody knew she was there.
Yeah.
She was in the car with the family. Nobody knew she was there.
Yeah, and it's
unlike
not like
Trump.
She held a press conference with a cowboy hat and decided to start.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. She was asked a question at their essentially a reporter asked her when they got to the air base. Like, did Trump call? We heard something about Trump. And it's like, yeah, he fucking called. You want to know what shit he said?
Yeah.
And then it blows up, and then at some point, if somebody would just be an adult and come out and say,
"Is that too much to ask?"
I don't get it. Like,
come on,
somebody be a fucking adult. But Sarah Huckabee Sanders comes up and says, "We're not going to talk about what he said on the call," even though the Congresswoman and the mother of the dead soldier are both saying that they heard Trump say.
Yes.
He knows what he signed up for.
He's never going to admit it.
Yeah.
And he didn't admit that that's what he said.
And then she brings up that nobody called John Kelly, now Chief of Staff John Kelly.
Yes.
General John Kelly at the time, to offer condolences for his son's death in war. But John Kelly was invited to a dinner for families of fallen soldiers like 3 weeks later.
Yes.
After the fact. And John Kelly, who was the highest ranking military member who ever had a son be killed in action, specifically was telling people, I don't want to talk about this.
Yes.
I'm number one, shell-shocked about it.
Yeah.
B, I don't want people to make a special deal about this because I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to raise the profile of my son who died when there's so many other people out there who have their sons killed, their daughters killed, and don't get the same sort of fame. I'd rather this just be a back burner issue.
Yeah.
He got invited to a dinner and sat at Michelle Obama's table. Yep. So there's the first fuck up. Then you bring John Kelly out there. And John Kelly calls her an empty barrel, which is a slightly racist term.
Yeah.
It's like one of those, it's not straight on racism, but it's just sort of, it's been associated with racist terminology so much that it's sort of...
Like if he had said, I would invite her to dinner, I'm having fried chicken.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that sort of thing.
There you go.
It's not racist. It just seems awfully racist because it's used in racist context.
It's the context.
Yeah.
It's all about the context. Yeah.
And he comes up there, and then he says that, I don't know why we're listening to this congresswoman anyway, because at an event for, what was it, a new FBI field office in Florida or something like she went up on stage and talked about how she was able to raise all the money for this thing, and everyone should be so proud of her. Blah 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 blah. When she didn't. She didn't.
It was actually recorded.
She wasn't in Congress at the time.
Yeah.
She was a private citizen who was involved in the community and didn't raise the money or get the money to fund this place, but rather just had them name it after 2 fallen FBI agents.
Yes.
She organized to get the FBI agents.
No, wait. But it wasn't named after those agents. Oh, no. Oh, it was. It was.
Yeah, it was.
So when she said, I did that.
There's video of this thing.
When she said, I did that, everything she claimed that she did, she actually did. And he assumed it was more.
At the time, everybody was talking about how amazing she was for putting herself out there, trying to honor these dead FBI agents and honor them with a building named after them and everything like that. You know, Comey was at the event and spoke glowingly of her. And, you know, regardless of what you think about Comey here or there, but
now especially,
So then, at any point, by the way, at any point along this process, it doesn't even have to be Trump. Like, fucking Pence is willing to get shot in the face over all kinds of nonsense. Just send Pence out there and just say, like, you know, like, yeah, he said something dumb. He shouldn't have said it. He's
the president. Give him some respect, right?
He's the president. He didn't think his statement would be taken out of context like that.
Yeah.
He didn't mean to hurt anybody. Obviously, he's trying to send condolences. He's not great with English, so why don't we just give him a fucking break? And then that would have been the end of the story.
Yeah.
Like, people would have just gotten over it. But instead, follow that up with Huckabee Sanders again at the White House press briefing, saying that when asked about why General Kelly, Chief of Staff Kelly, lied on the podium at a White House press briefing, she said, I don't think it's appropriate that you say that a general lied. Which is the type of shit that happens in, like, North Korea and other dictatorships. Don't you fucking dare doubt the general.
Yeah, we don't go to the actual content of what he said. It's, he said it, that's it.
Yeah.
End of discussion.
And then,
that's fine.
And then, just by saying that sort of statement, you open up the door for human shit shows like David Petraeus to go, yeah, generals are totally fair game. If they make a bad decision, they should be called out for it.
Yeah.
And now you're on the moral low side of David Petraeus, who had to leave office in shame because he was sexting with his assistant or something.
No, the woman writing his book.
The woman writing his book.
Who he gave state secrets to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, you've ceded the moral high ground to David Petraeus.
So somebody who committed treason. You lost the moral high ground. I just can't eat. Like, how many fucking times are you going to try and kick that football, Charlie Brown? Like, just give up. And just say I made a mistake, move on, but Trump is just incapable of doing it.
Yes.
And the thing that upsets me the most is that there are people out there on all kinds of social media that I follow who are trying to defend Trump on, like, going so far away from the point, trying to defend Trump on this shit. Just, like, if I like a politician and they do something that I don't agree with, I call them out on it.
Yep.
And it's people. You don't have to agree with them every 100% of the time.
Right.
I would say things about any politician that I disagree with, whether or not they're Republican or Democrat, and whether or not I'm a Republican or a Democrat. It's just the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't... Fucking somebody, just go up there and apologize and get this over with, because the more and more that... Trump tweeted like 18 times about like how fucking terrible the Congresswoman for Florida is. Like, she's wearing a fucking cowboy hat all the time. Like, this shouldn't be a hard fight to lose. Like,
but by the way, lost in all of this is the fact that 4 American soldiers, who had no real reason to be where they were lost in Niger.
And I think the part of the reason why all these series of events happened like this is to get us to not pay attention to what the hell happened in Niger.
Because I think you put it aptly that this has the possibility of being Trump's Benghazi. And if Congress had any spine, this would be Trump's Benghazi.
Or if there was, if Democrats had House.
Or when the Democrats get the House.
Yeah, I mean, this will just... listen, I'm not trying to Monday morning quarterback these military decisions because we don't know everything that goes into it, and we don't even know all the details now. But what we know is that 4 American soldiers were going to some sort of rendezvous with what they imagine to be freedom fighters for
whatever
rebellion or counter ISIS fighters in Niger, and then were attacked by 50 or so ISIS fighters.
Yes.
ISIS fighter, all the lines are vague here.
Yes.
But
ISIS, the same group that claimed
with ISIS.
Yeah. By the way, though, ISIS claimed the Las Vegas shooting. So I mean,
who knows?
Who knows?
And we'll get more details, or maybe not. Who knows? Maybe Trump will just say that he deserved to die anyway because he was black, and then we'll go on to a completely new story about how dare Trump say this, and we'll never get to the point of why he died.
Yes.
But and then a bunch of shitheads on Facebook will say like, "Well, he is black. He should have died." Why are
that's
okay. Why are you going to bat for this man? It's so dumb.
But we still don't know exactly the details of what happened. But in the end, they went in with no air cover. They went in with no reinforcements. They went in alone.
The only defense they had was the French army, which has a non-intervention policy.
In Africa, at least, yes. And I think that they were part. Actually, the French are there as part of a UN group, and the UN has very strict rules of like non-engagement. Yeah. And the Americans have very strict rules of fuck the UN. We're going to do whatever we want to do.
Right. Well, I mean, essentially, what we know for sure, or to the best of our ability at this point, is that these 4 soldiers were going under false pretenses to some sort of rendezvous, and they were what's the word for it? Ambushed.
Yes.
And they were basically left for dead. Just left dead there.
Left behind.
Yeah, left
Which
behind.
is the worst thing that can happen to an Army Ranger is to get left behind.
And, so that's essentially it. Yeah. And nobody's asking Trump questions about this, yet how many fucking Benghazi hearings were there?
Right.
Again, if you're upset about Benghazi, I totally understand why.
Yeah. But there was 9 hearings.
You're allowed to have your outrage of this.
There were 9 hearings, though.
Yeah.
We've had our fill of Benghazi.
Right.
So maybe we have one about this.
Yeah.
And we figure out what happened. We figure out why Trump went golfing 7 times between when the event happened and when he made a call to a fallen soldier's spouse. Why he hasn't met any fallen soldiers at Dover, despite the fact that it's an hour and a half.
Or Walter Reed.
Or gone to Walter Reed or anything else. Let's just look into some of these things.
Yeah.
And I don't even care about not going to Walter Reed. I mean, I do. But don't expect that from him.
Yeah.
If he was given the choice between going to his resort and golfing and going to Walter Reed and seeing people who had been shot up, he's going to choose golfing. That's who he is.
He's been to Mar-a-Lago more than he's been to any kind of...
But you guys elected him, so I'm not surprised by any of that.
Because he's the president who cares about the troops.
Yeah.
But
nonetheless, so he doesn't go to Dover. I get why nobody cares because that's not who he is. He doesn't go to Walter Reed. That's not who he is. But when this happens, and by the way, you talk about it over and over again throughout 2016. Benghazi, where are the emails? What did he do? What did she do? All of that stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's your turn. Where are all the spines in Congress to say, maybe we should at least take a look at this? And at least make him claim executive privilege and see where that gets him. How about that?
As another side of the story, by the way, Paul, not this story in particular, but just the cowardice of the Republicans in Congress.
Yeah.
Did you hear about Paul Ryan at the Al Smith dinner?
No, but I'm sure that'll be interesting. Yeah.
The Al Smith dinner, we talked about it last year.
Yeah.
This time, is a very famous New York political event, which is essentially a roast.
Yeah.
You go up there, you make jokes about other politicians, and it's all in honor of Al Smith, who was governor of New York.
Mayor and governor, and he was a party boss. He was running the machine before Tammany Hall.
Yeah, and basically, it goes with Catholic Charities or something like that. Yes. They raise money for the church. And Paul Ryan was one of the people who spoke this year. And amongst the things he said was, it's amazing how often I check Twitter to see the remarks that I will claim that I later didn't see. It's a funny enough gag.
That's good.
Told by somebody who has absolutely no sense of comedic timing. But
by the way, don't you miss Obama? Don't you miss just the punchiness and the jokiness?
Again, I think I said this at the time, and it was not a slight on previous politicians who didn't have a sense of humor, because usually these people didn't have to have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
But it was fun to think that any president who came, who throughout the entire history of the presidency,
yeah,
Obama would probably make the best stand-up comedy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was the funniest. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like,
I have no more elections left to run. Yeah. I know, because I won both of them. Like,
and basically, so many people are saying that how bad he roasted Trump at the Correspondence Center.
Yeah, why he
ended up running. So,
yeah. No.
Maybe we should walk back that praise of Obama.
Anyway, I'll Smith dinner. So
yeah, I mean, it's a funny enough joke, but also at the same time, fucking show a little bit of spine. Like,
yeah,
you're admitting to seeing things that you're going to later deny seeing. Like,
just because you don't want to comment on them.
Yeah, like, fuck you. Like,
the leader of your party is announcing policy via Twitter.
Yeah, without any kind of, like, not asking anybody, not trying to figure out, like,
no, he's asking people. He's asking Fox and Friends in the morning. And
quick thought. Marco Rubio had brought it up during the campaign, and then Trump made it a point that they're not going to subsidize low-income insurance policies.
Right.
Because basically the agreement that they had, because it hadn't been written into the law, was that the government was going to send checks to insurance companies to cover half the cost of low-income insurance, because everyone needed to be covered, and there needed to be some discount essentially given to the insurance companies to be able to cover these people.
Right.
Trump took it away, which is fine. I mean, he's making a statement that this is corporate welfare in its own right, which I guess one could say. But
yeah, but as you pass you're trying to pass tax corporate welfare, you're taking away a different corporate welfare. It's not really the point.
But what this is just going to end up doing is the people who are paying for their insurance are just going to end up paying more.
Yes.
So, the person who can't afford insurance and gets the insurance for free is still going to get the insurance for free.
Yep.
And the cost is still going to be the same to them.
Yep.
They
especially
for charged more because
Medicaid.
That's part of the deal.
Yeah.
But the person who pays for insurance because they make too much money to get free insurance now have to pay for more insurance.
Right.
Pay more for insurance because Trump did it. So,
and what are the demographics?
Everybody who makes $80,000 a year and can't afford free health insurance, enjoy your more expensive insurance because of Trump.
I was going to say, what are the demographics of the people who are buying their own insurance and are impacted by that?
People who voted for Trump to lower their taxes, essentially.
Generally so.
Yeah.
Upper middle class making $70,000 to $110,000 per year.
Yeah.
Small business owners, generally white, generally family people with multiple children. So the people who said Trump's going to make America great again, I guess he's doing it. So there's that. And not to end on two sad notes in a row, but
what other kind of notes are there?
Yeah.
Oh, right, Dodgers made it to the World Series.
Yeah, hey, yeah. But I do want to say I've had a lot of soul searching this week, and I've had a lot of I've seen a lot of strength this week, and I want to applaud everyone who has taken this opportunity to either one, tell their story, or two, support those who are telling their story even if they can't by using the hashtag metoo on social media.
Yeah.
It has been an incredible movement in the past week, and especially, I don't know, Tuesday and Wednesday, it just seemed like it blew up, and everybody was adding things in and telling their story. And I saw an interesting post. I want to say it was from a friend of mine, Mark Dignan, and he comes up with these very poetic things that I wish I could come up with, but he's faster and smarter than me. Well, maybe not smarter. But he said that seeing all of these stories from all of these people who I never would have expected surprised me. And that tells me that I am part of the problem, because I have not made myself aware of how widespread this issue is.
Yeah.
And you and I were talking outside about how it's easy for men, I think, to not see the problem that's right in front of us. Especially, and again, I've heard a lot of great things from women saying, we're not saying, one, you shouldn't have to say this.
Right.
Let's say that. But we're not saying all men are the problem. Some men are the problem. But I will be the first to say that I don't know that I've always noticed when there's been a problem. And I don't know. Just seeing all of the stories has been heart-wrenching for me.
Let me put it this way. I first of all, I agree with everything that you said. There were a shocking number of people who put, even if it was just simply #MeToo on Facebook or Twitter or wherever, that I feel like I know pretty well and never knew that they had an experience like this, which like kind of hurt me because like not because they owed to tell me or anything like that, but I mean like it's like, you know, obviously issues stick with you a lot harder once you know how many people it affects, and to even have a acknowledgement in that direction was very eye opening. I wonder though what can be. I mean, like I think it's a great statement. I think it does a lot, but I don't know what the end game is necessarily. Well, so I think that's my only problem. I think it's great that we're putting it out there. I think that it's great that this conversation has been trending online because it helps us discuss the issue and try and make more inroads towards a solution. But there's also not a lot of ideas being brought up of what can be done in the long run. You know, like I think that's the part that really is. Again, all I'm thinking about. I'm just coming from this as somebody who wants to help. Like, I want to try it. Obviously, I don't want friends and family and everybody else to be in the crosshairs of sexually aggressive men. But unless I see something happening, I can't really do anything.
Here's the thing, though. It's not for us. Right. I mean, it is in a way. But what it is it's saying to other people, you're not alone. You're not the only one. And if this happens, you should feel like you can stand up. It's sending a message that what we need to do is to believe women when they make these accusations. Yeah. And I will say, maybe not the best time for it, and I thought better of it afterward, but I posted it anyway. I posted a video that I made about a year ago now. I don't know if you remember me sitting outside of your house for 45 minutes and recording a video in my car. Yeah. We recorded a bit of a controversial episode about a year ago. I don't even remember was it the grab 'em comment? Yeah, it was Trump's grab 'em comment, which, by the way, happened a year ago now, and he's president of the United States, so there's that.
I still talk about that episode from time to time, mostly because of the fact that we recorded. We literally the news broke, and then 15 minutes later we did a podcast. Yes, yeah. And everything that we said, which we thought would be funny or entertaining, was not funny or entertaining.
Not funny, and that story did not go the direction we were anticipating it going. No, but I made a YouTube video, I
still maintain that the essentially the same joke was made by South Park, but only funnier because obviously South Park is funny.
And they had time to mull it over.
Yeah, where Garrison was up, going yeah, I really grabbed this woman by the snatch, and then you see women walking out, and it's like, oh yeah, the fuck them all to death part, that's fine, but the grabbing by the pussy part, yeah, no, I get it, it's moral honor.
Yeah, so not to rehash that whole thing, but I did update a video, and you guys are welcome to check it out on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/RobertandCheek, or /user/RobertandCheek. But I uploaded a video just saying that how, one, I've always considered myself to be an advocate for women. I did a lot of pro bono work for domestic violence victims. I have felt like my entire life I have tried to put myself out there as somebody who could be approached. It hurt me a lot that I saw people who I would have thought they would come to me with these kind of #MeToo stories, and they didn't come to me with that, so that was kind of hurtful. But again, it's not about me, it's about them, and I understand that. But then after that episode, I got a lot of comments, one in particular, and I think it was the heart of this sentiment that made me post a video, which was, you're the kind of guy who would sexually harass someone or maybe sexually assault someone. Actually, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then so I posted a video about all of the times that I have been accused of some inappropriate things, and I encourage you to check that out. The most interesting response I've gotten since the reposting are people who I've met since then who are just like, you made me cry watching that video. I had no idea that kind of stuff happened. But here's the thing. Watch that video. Take a pause right here. Go watch that video and come back. Because here's what I'm going to tell you. Despite all of that, I am still an advocate for believing women when they make accusations.
Yeah.
Because I have survived all of the false accusations and all of the misunderstandings or whatever you want to call them. Again, all examples are there in the video, or some of the examples are there in the video. But I've survived all that, and I still am standing here. I'm still an advocate for women in general, for domestic violence victims, and for women who have been victims of sexual assault. And I still believe women when they make those accusations. And that is what it's about. It's not about us doing anything. It's about believing women when they make these claims, and at least giving some validation to the claim and moving forward, because this kind of stuff happens when we have a fear, when women have feared about coming forward, and when men who do these kind of things feel as though they can prey on, one, the fear, and two, the secrecy, that no one's going to speak up and that everyone's afraid. But we have some great examples, and here's another.
Okay, so again, I'm not trying to minimize any experiences here, but so there was some story that I saw a couple days ago about another executive who somebody had made an anonymous claim that they had been inappropriately touched by this executive, and the article that I read was kind of flabbergasting in the way that there was no sourcing, there was no information. And I'm not saying that somebody who is sexually harassed needs to have their name out there to have it dragged through the mud or anything like that. But this is... we could literally... I mean, like, if you had the right set of circumstances, you could literally just put any name out there, and then it just becomes their word against yours. You know, like...
Right.
You know, if the right article gets posted that said Pope Francis touched me inappropriately,
which wouldn't be that unbelievable given the history of the Catholic Church.
Right, but I'm saying like that story could get out to the entire world, and Pope Francis is already getting the looks and the fervor of everybody without any kind of evidence one way or the other.
Right.
And I understand, like, it's the problem with the criminal justice society, or the criminal justice system more than anything else. Whereas I want to believe the person who has the story,
right?
But I also need to have some form. I just want, obviously, in a situation like Harvey Weinstein, where there's 40 some odd women who come out and said the exact same story, or Bill Cosby,
right?
There's a clear track record here of the exact same sort of thing happening over and over again. But you know, if it's one incident, yes, I want to believe the person who puts it out there. I don't think they would go through the trouble and the effort to do it, but there also has to be the time that's spent determining in a court of law whether or not this actually happened.
Well, no, but in the end, though, it's
somebody's life could be ruined on a claim like this,
right? And
before there's even a chance to clear them or make them guilty, either one way or the other. You know,
I'm not saying anything about anonymous claims, because I think that's something totally different. And I think that we are in now a climate where there's going to be a lot of accusations made, and who knows, but like, yes, does there need to be some connection? Yes. Were you alone with this person? And do the details match up to something that is factually accurate? Right. And if it does, then that, to me, that is enough.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess you can't say, yes, this happened. I'm not going to give you any details, but it happened back in 2003 on a day that I don't really remember, and the sun was in my eyes, and I don't remember any of these things. And sure, but that's not what any of this is.
Yeah.
And if any of the first woman that Harvey Weinstein did this to had felt like it was okay to speak up and give details, then it would have stopped right then.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing now. We're creating a climate where people feel safe to speak up and give details, and that their lives are not going to be negatively impacted. And all the role is for us. All of this has nothing to do with us. Our role is to do what the kid from Stranger Things did, which is wherever we can have an impact, have an impact.
Yeah.
And when we find out that our agent has been accused of something, and we have an ability to say, nope, I am not giving you my business anymore, that's what we do.
I completely agree. And I think that we should do everything we can to rid the scourge of unwanted. I've always maintained that as long as you don't hurt anybody, I don't care what you do.
Right.
If you want to wear purple pants and yellow polka dot shirts, that's fine. That's not hurting anybody. You can do what you want. If you want to, cut your hair into a mohawk and have it be 8 feet tall, fine. By all means, that's not hurting anybody. If you want to go and grab somebody inappropriately, no, you can't do that. That hurts somebody.
Yeah.
Like, the line is pretty simple here. But I also think that, and again, this is the terrible side of the line, which we spoke about way the hell back when we were talking about Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Where I said that we have to do as deplorable as Nazis and the white supremacists are, we at the same time have to defend their right to be able to say what they want.
Okay.
Because if we don't defend that, if we give up the right to free speech, then we're giving up the right for. At some point, this becomes a slippery slope where nobody gets free speech, and we've given up that right. And I wish that we live in a society where people raped or sexually harassed or molested or anything, other people. Because to me, the idea of doing something like that is so heinously terrible that I couldn't even comprehend why I would do that to somebody.
Yeah.
I couldn't picture the circumstance in which I would do that to somebody. But at the same time, I'm not ready to burn the entire city down because somebody has a claim that I need these things to play out a little bit.
Okay.
Or I need to have some sort of reasonable belief that it happened the way it did,
Well, and so
much like who was everybody wanted to fucking put Scott Peterson in jail for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
The second that story came out.
Yeah.
But then the more and more the evidence came out, the more and more it cleared him.
If you're Mark Andrews, yeah.
No, but I'm saying for the first month of the news story, there was no doubt in anybody's mind that Scott Peterson was guilty.
Right.
But then as the facts came out, he wasn't guilty. And if you ask people, is Scott Peterson guilty? They're going to say yes.
They only remember the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes.
The same thing happened with the Duke lacrosse case.
Yes.
I mean, we heard lacrosse players and we said, yes, of course they raped somebody. But we don't remember about how every single part of that story was proven to be inaccurate, false, and everybody who was involved in that team, the coaching, the players, their lives were ruined.
Yeah.
And I get that we want to solve the issue, but we gotta find the way to do this in a way that punishes the people who do things wrong in an appropriate amount of time without jumping to conclusions. I really want to solve this problem, but we have to put the pitchforks down a little bit.
Yeah, this reminds me though of your nudes on the beach, and let's just give it some time, and we'll figure out a solution when the time comes. And
I'm not saying that. I just
there's never going to be a great solution. The great solution is that there are going to be some people caught up, and they'll be vindicated by time.
I feel like the solution is the statements by Tarantino kind of stuck with me when talking about Harvey Weinstein, where he said that somebody told him about one of his actresses or an ex-girlfriend or something like that. It said that Harvey had done this to her, and Tarantino basically did the what? That doesn't sound like the Harvey I know. It just put the statements aside.
Yeah.
Didn't believe that they happened. And then he heard another incident like it. And he's just like, that's so weird. Somebody else had told me that before, and I didn't Like, I didn't want to believe it. Like, is essentially what he said. He said, like, now that I'm looking back, I'm ashamed that I didn't do anything about it. But I feel like, be more like Brad Pitt and less like Tarantino.
Okay.
Brad Pitt heard about when he was dating Gwyneth Paltrow.
Right, and he confronted him.
And Gwyneth Paltrow told Brad Pitt about what had happened with Harvey Weinstein. And Brad Pitt found him at a premiere.
Yeah.
And said, if you ever fucking do that again, I'm going to end you. And I don't care who the fuck you are, and I don't care if you think you have a handle on my career, or if you can ruin my life or anything like that. You don't do this to other people. And if you do it again, and I find out that you do it again, then I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna tell the media and I'm gonna do something about it.
Did it stop it?
What?
Did it stop it?
No, but as far as Brad Pitt is concerned,
he did everything he could.
He did everything he could.
Except for he didn't go to the media.
Other people had acted.
He didn't go to the media. He could have gone and stopped it, but he didn't do it. He could have gone to the police. He could have gone to anybody at Weinstein Company. He did.
If any number of people, if the problem is that so many people didn't want to do something because they didn't want to be caught in the firestorm of.
Do you know why we have a 911 system?
So that anonymous calls can be made.
Well, no. Wait, do you know the story behind the 911 system?
No.
There's a woman named Kitty in New York City, and she was attacked by a man over the course of 40 minutes. He followed her home. She fought him off. He stabbed her many, many times. And apparently there were over 100 eyewitnesses to the stabbing. And what happened to Kitty? She died in the front entryway of her building because everyone heard it and everyone assumed someone else would do something and no one called for help.
Yeah.
That is why Harvey Weinstein survived so long in Hollywood. Because everyone said, even Brad Pitt, who went to him and said, you will not do this again or I'm going to say something, he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And no one said anything because they were all waiting for someone else to say anything. So that kind of system doesn't work. And you allow predators to be predators when you do that. And that's just not acceptable. Does it mean that there will be some false accusations? Yes. But that doesn't mean... Well, so let's we do have... Wait, there's a comment from the comment section here. I think it's interesting. I saw a comment from a man, obviously, that reminded me of an episode from the newsroom in which a girl who's sexually abused wants to go on to the news. The producer suggested that her having a website for women to share their experiences could be used as a weapon. The comment basically suggested that women, with all the coverage about their movement is having, that they can use it to attack innocent men. Basically, I don't like my boss, coworker, peer, whatever. I'll make up a story of sexual harassment. And that's what the comment suggested. Any thoughts? That's basically what your argument is now. It's a slippery slope towards just being used as a weapon.
I think it's a problem with the internet more than it's a problem with any particular movement per se.
Okay.
It's the fact that we've created a platform where people will believe things that are written on it, regardless of how...
And who cares? People say shit about me all the time. I don't care. Say what you want about me. It doesn't mean that it's true.
I get it. And it's easy to brush them off when it doesn't have a profound impact on your life.
Okay.
I'm saying if you're, again, like, you gotta put yourself in the position of somebody who is... I made a joke with Joey, one of the actors on set, that things that you tweet when you're not famous you can just put out a completely inappropriate tweet.
Yeah.
Just like, all girls are bitches.
And then when you get that first role, delete everything on your Twitter.
When you have 70 people following you on Twitter, and all of them are your dumb friends, nobody looks at that tweet and goes like, you're like, or like, you know. But if you're,
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Brad Pitt, and you tweet, all women are bitches, then that's the breaking news story and everything they're talking about on CNN for the next 5 days.
Yes.
There is no way in the world that he would be allowed to tweet that without it becoming the biggest story in the world. Like,
can you imagine a way that you in your life could avoid being the target of a false accusation?
No.
You can't.
No.
Like, never being alone with a person, never closing your office door when you have a PA in there.
Yeah.
Basically living following the Pence rule.
Yeah, like always never being alone with a woman that's not your wife.
Right.
Yeah.
And as much as I made fun of him for that rule, maybe it's not such a bad policy. Now, I don't have to, I don't have a wife to worry about. His rule is about being accusations of cheating.
Yeah.
So, but in a professional relationship, is there not a way that you can just say, listen, I'm going to bring in Rob. He's going to sit in here with us. We're going to have a conversation about this thing. Or we're going to bring in John, our casting director. He's going to sit in here with us. And that way you never do business in a hotel room. You never.
But I mean, like,
listen, things are going to happen. Someone's going to say you said something inappropriate at a party. You had too much liquor, but maybe that happens and it's unavoidable for that. But you can avoid the big accusations by just not putting yourself in a bad situation.
Somebody posted something. I wish I could remember where I saw this, but it was basically the Rock rule.
Yeah.
And they said any situation in which a woman would you would be in a murky area with a woman who would reach out to you.
Yeah.
Just imagine that instead of a woman, it's the Rock. And how would that situation be different?
Right.
So you are I'm a sound guy, and some very attractive woman that we went to college with decides to move out to LA, and she says, "Hey, I found out you were in sound, and I'd like to get into sound, and I want to figure out how to do it. Can I pick your brain over dinner sometime?"
Sure.
And you would, like, in your head, you say to yourself, like, "Oh God, you know, the idea. If I told Rachel that I'm going out with this beautiful woman to talk about her career, like, people might read things into it. But if it was The Rock, then nobody would go like, oh yeah, of course have dinner. Like, there's no shame in that. Like,
and that makes it okay.
Yeah,
because you're overthinking
it. Right, because you're overthinking these things.
Sure.
And there was situations, good and bad, where it's just like, imagine it was The Rock. What would you do? You know, like, if you were harassed by a woman, but if you were harassed by The Rock, what would you do? You'd say, The Rock, that's inappropriate. Please don't do it.
Yes.
Like, it's a very simple metric for figuring this out. What I'm saying is that we need to figure out a way. And I was hoping that the ability of the internet, where we could figure out, like, literally where everybody is at any point in time, if you want it. You're fucking walking around with a GPS tracker.
Yeah, but here's the thing is, don't put yourself in those situations. That's the answer.
It should be easier to get to the bottom of claims like this.
Yeah, and it will be. It will be. That's why I am not.
And I'd like to. I guess what I want to do is I want to figure out the legal remedies that we can do to make this situation go by quicker.
You're more worried about punishing false accusations than you are about people who are actually being assaulted. And that blows my mind. Because your first thought goes to, I'm worried about the false accusations and people getting their lives ruined. I'm worried about people who are being assaulted right now.
I'm worried about that too. I'm just saying that.
You know what? I can say I have my phone on me at all times.
Yeah.
Google tracks me everywhere I go. If you say I was with you at Chateau Marmont on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. in a hotel room, I can tell you right now, I will release all my text messages and all my emails and my GPS data and show in my initial response. Yeah. I was not there. I was not with her. I was, in fact, with Corey, and we were watching John Oliver or something on Tuesday night at my apartment. That's where I was, and here. And so easily, it's done.
Yeah.
And that's the glory of being in 2017. And the fact that I have to think about that sucks. But my first response is I don't care that I have to defend myself because there are people who are being attacked right now. And that's the important thing. That's what we should address first.
I want justice. That's what I want. At the end of the day, I want justice.
It's not a perfect world. So do you skew more to the limited number of false accusations, or do you skew more to the clearly, based on what I've seen on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and everywhere else, the huge number of women who are being harassed and molested and assaulted and raped by people who are in positions of power? Which way do you skew? Because, you know, justice is... You are living in a dream world where this thing can be perfect. It can't be perfect. So which way do you skew? Where do you skew towards?
I want...
It can't be perfect.
No, I understand. I want it to stop.
Okay, so what do you skew towards?
This is the problem I'm talking about. We're having a conversation about something. We're not directing ourselves towards a solution.
Yeah, I have the solution.
If everyone can agree on a solution that will A, punish as many people who are guilty of crimes as possible,
yes,
while minimizing the number of people who get their lives ruined by false claims.
You're trying to live in a society that's 100% controlled, and it's not.
I'm not trying to 100%. I know that there's no perfect.
All right, so let's set up a hotline where people can call and make accusations and offer their evidence, and then it will privately be investigated. And if it's found to be legitimate, it will be made public. If it's found to be not, it will be kept secret.
Sure.
Except for that's right for abuse. Because some private thing is just going to be bought off. So the guy who comes in to investigate, Harvey Weinstein says, hey, you want to be in the pictures? Or writes him a $10 million check, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it gets hidden again, because he's done that. Time after time, he's bought people off. Or people are worried about their careers, or any number of things.
I get that.
You're looking for a perfect solution, there's not one.
I'm not.
In the absence of a perfect solution, I'm saying skew towards the victims. At least let's take care of victims and worry about false accusations later. Because I know that there is a way that we can figure that out.
The problem is that every single situation that we think about is based off of the worst case scenario. We think about the Weinsteins. We think about the Cosbys. We think about the,
No, I'm thinking about my friends.
We think about
my friends who are walking into auditions and feeling like they are put in an awkward situation. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm not even thinking about, again, a 40-minute video I posted about false accusations.
We got to stop talking about this because we're just going to go on forever. And this is already way too long, and I'm about to fall asleep at this desk.
Okay.
And because I'm so tired, I imagine that I said things that I'm going to regret tomorrow. Anyway.
And it's live on YouTube, so no editing. Hey! All right, but I will say before we get into the closing stuff, this has gone really long, guys. We will not be going an hour plus. Most weeks... I've missed Corey. I've missed having our arguments. So we've gotten into it a little bit. We haven't really gotten deep into conversation, so we took the 2 hours to do it here. So join us now on youtube.com/O The Anthem all the time.
I would like to state again for the record, even though I've said it already like 15 times, I am not trying to offend people who do bad things. I just want a more just criminal justice system. That's all I want. Please, for the love of God, don't hate me.
Okay. Guy, what's your... How are you gonna segue?
If you want more moments through history where Corey regrets things, OTheAnthem.com, CoreyToTheAnthem.com, O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also line 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595.
And you can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com for more information about my political blog, foundingfuture.us, the news website at deaddrop.com, where you can find all the interesting, hidden, non-political, non-newsy stuff. If you're tired of hearing about Harvey Weinstein and Trump and everything else, go on over to deaddrop.com and find all the other stories that are happening in the world. And, of course, you can find links to the books that are available on Amazon.
What are those books?
Thank you, sir.
Well, I don't even know. I don't think I should say it.
Go ahead.
I think we've done good here today.
I think we've done something. I don't know if it's good. But as always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network. For Corey, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
All right, sleepy time.